Welcome to our program on Kardec Radio.
Hello, everybody. We are back Thursday, 7:15 here in Ireland. Hope you are joining us. Thank you very much for your time. Today it's Wanderley and myself.
Hello, guys.
It's good to have the boys' day. Huh? Yeah. And we're gonna talk today about forgiveness. And all characteristics about forgiveness. But first of all, I would like to say thank you for joining us, our friends from Ireland, from UK, from Portugal, from Brazil, and now from America. So good to have our friends from America with us today. And in order to start our discussion about forgiveness, I'd like to make the initial prayer. So I will ask to everyone to calm down, have a deep breath. Try to empty your mind and make connection with superior spirits, raising up your thoughts, asking for the superior spirits to make us capable of accomplish our mission, fulfill our tasks. At the same time, look after our brothers and sisters who are sick in the hospitals, who are on the streets without shelter, those who doesn't have anything to eat, and especially those brothers and sisters who are at home, hopeless, suffering from anxiety, and thinking about suicide. May the good spirits reach them and comfort them somehow. So be it.
So be it.
Amen. Okay, so Wanderley, you put a smile in someone's face today. Look.
Hey, Don, how are you doing, man? Good to see you too. Good to be back. Quite busy, but it's good to be back.
Yeah, someone needs to do their job, and he was doing their job. Yeah. Okay. Forgiveness. So this is Wanderley's suggestion. So because of his suggestions, I'd like to ask him to kick off this discussion.
Sure. But today, guys, my idea is to bring forgiveness in a less moral way or even religious way. We are trying to bring forgiveness here in a sense that we should try to analyze let's put in a more medical way. Of course, Stevan, either myself, we are not doctors. We don't have the ability to talk as a doctors. But doing some researches and studying a little bit about the topic, we understand that a lot of doctors nowadays, a huge part of medicine, they agree that whoever forgiveness, again, forgetting about the religious or the moral aspect, just letting things go, just trying to accept the others, how they are, these people, they deal better with illness in general. They deal better with cancer, perhaps, or in any kind of more difficult way related to health. So the way which I'm trying to open this is like this. Forgiveness is not something that we should put only once we think, for example, about Jesus, or once we think about Buddha, or once we think about Mahatma Gandhi, when he forgave all the British people who tried to invade India, for example. No, but let's put forgiveness in a way that the person who takes advantage the most of forgiveness is not the one who I'm forgiving, but it's myself. I'm not creating a future cancer in my life. I'm not creating a stomach problem. I'm not creating any kind of making my allergies go even worse. Because a lot of doctors, they claim that if someone has an allergy, someone has an I don't know, stomach problem, any kind of problem, whenever you are holding that kind of feelings back inside yourself, things they get worse in the long term, or even the short term. You know, we see how people they, whenever they are, let's say, at work, or when they live together with someone, once they hold that grudge, how they even change their face, how everything upsets them. So we are trying to bring forgiveness here in this way, try to make quite simple. The person who forgives is the one who takes the most advantage, the most benefits of it, not the other one. If you can forgive someone, good for you. But think like this: you are the main one who is receiving the blessings, we can put it this way, or the health benefits, or any kind of benefit, you name it. But that's the way which I'd like to start to be talking about forgiveness. What do you think, Stevan?
Yes, yes. I agree 100% what you were saying, especially because we need to. The first thing we need to bear in mind is okay. Let me, because Robbie is connected with us, and I almost was saying something. Forgiveness is a beautiful opportunity for both parts to learn. Yes, yes, Rob. This is exactly what I was about to say. If you forgive someone just because someone told you for exercise forgiveness is nice, is good, this is not going to work, because you are not doing this from let's say from your heart, from inside out. You know, you're doing this because, oh, I need to forgive because of what the people gonna think about it, what my boss gonna say, what my wife, what my children. So you are doing this because a kind of a kind of obligation, and this is not forgiveness. I'm not saying forgiveness you need to erase what happened and say and pretend this do not exist. I'm not saying this. I'm saying forgiveness is a process. It's a process. And you know you will complete this process when you remember what happened. You will see what happened, but you will not have that hate, that bitterness when you remember that situation. If you say something to someone, oh, I forgive you, but then you remember what happened, you will still have that hate, that feeling very annoyed inside of you. You didn't forgive. You didn't forgive. So we needed to work in this transition. We needed to differentiate what is a true forgiveness, what is I can say now, like mouth forgiveness. I think that's the way you are talking about forgiveness as a remedy, Wanderley.
Yeah, but like this also, but also trying to get, because a lot of people who don't believe in anything, and I respect all of them, they sometimes they relate forgiveness with this big example that you had in humanity. But for them, whoever is morally correct, they understand, they know that they must forgive the other, not because it's religious, it's spiritist, it's beautiful. It's no, they know because they can walk better. It's like if you go, I always say that in my speeches. It's like if you're going through a mountain. If you are carrying a lot of luggage with you, if you are carrying a lot of accessories with you, it's gonna be harder for you to climb that mountain. But once you leave things that you don't really need, you're gonna go much faster. you're gonna get you're gonna get higher in that mountain. But I agree with Steven. But what we have to remember also, once you think about forgiveness, some people they think, okay, to forgive is to forget. It's
No.
impossible to forget. That's the thing. That's a lot of people they think, oh, I must forget what the person did to me. Unless you have Alzheimer, you don't forget. Because how can unless you're getting old, you're getting a problem, But
Yeah.
if you don't, if you are in your playing health, if you're enjoy your playing good health, you're not going to forget, because it's like this. How can I forget someone who perhaps hurt someone that I love? How can I forget someone at work who tried to take my place and took advantage of something which I said and showed to my boss? And now I lost my job because of that. You cannot forget these things. But the differentiating between forgetting and using forgiveness in these kind of cases is like this. I'm not going to be keeping that level of anxiety. I'm not going to be keeping that level of anger. I'm not going to be keeping that level of hatred against that person. That person did that to me. That's fine. What can I do? I'm going to keep going my way without carrying that on me. I'm going to keep going. Let's say if someone committed a crime, it's my right to go there to the police and say, I want that person to go to the jail because that person maybe killed someone that you love. If that's in the human law, yes, of course you can apply. What I cannot do it is to take a knife or a gun and kill that person. Because then we are go back to the law of Moses, a knife for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. The Talion's law, I'm not sure. So we cannot do this. So we cannot forget things which happened to us. But once we forgive, we are not giving back what the person gave to us. We are resignificating that pain. So anytime that I remember what it was, for example, Steven did something bad for me, I'm going to remember what Steven did, but I'm not having that anger, that hatred against him. I'm resignificating my pain, and some people, they use that as a tool to keep going. For example, so many of us in the past had a trauma, had an accident, or someone tried to be smart with us and destroy our life, perhaps. Instead of giving back, we stepped back. Instead of reacting, we acted in a much more moral and correct way, not giving back to the person the same. And we took that as a lesson and we kept going, and our life got better because we changed the way that we saw that pain and that action, that memory. I don't know if that makes sense, guys.
Yeah. So Robbie says here, in order for forgiveness to occur, both parties have to be able to come together with the best in mind for all. Robbie, I give you one story that Divaldo told us here in Ireland when he came here, and we were having a kind of discussion about forgiveness, and he said the following: when you identify that, for example, you screw up something, okay, and you made a mistake and you needed to retreat to someone, okay, let's say Wanderley and I had an argument, and I found out that I was wrong, so I come to Wanderley and say, hey Wanderley, I'm sorry, I realized that I was the wrong one. I realized that I screw up. In order to fix this, I will do this. Okay? If Wanderley said, okay, Stevan, as long as this not happen again, let's move on. Let's put a stone on this and let's move forward. Okay? If it has happened, it's beautiful for both parties. But if Wanderley says, no, what you did is not forgettable, then becomes only Wanderley's problem, not my problem. Because I will not carry with me that feeling, because I went through to Wanderley and ask apologies. If Wanderley didn't apologize, of course, he's not ready to do it, but it's only Wanderley problem. So he needs to doing psychology sessions, thinking with his pillow. He needed to do whatever he needs to do in order to work this until he is ready to say, hey, okay, I forgive Stevan. But once I recognize from a true feeling, not, I just go to say sorry for Wanderley because, no, I'm saying a true feeling. When I come to Wanderley and say, at that moment, the energy which was interfering both parts will start only interfering the other part, if that part do not forgive. You know what I mean? Okay? So we need to think, I that person never will forgive you. Okay, no problem. But go to that person. Look in the eyes of that person. Explain your reasons, not in a way of excuse, but explain their reasons and say, because of that, I screw up with you, and I'm so sorry. If they said yes, happy days. If they said no, okay, happy for you because you had the courage. You have the will to come there and retreat yourself. Is that clear? I think you remember that time when Divaldo said
I remember.
This. Yeah.
But I just want to make a point of this because I was there also, and I remember what the rest of Givaldo said. But of course, I agree with Steve 100%. But in this case, Robbie, we are talking about some small things. It's like this. Steven is 100% correct. But let's make this case a bit more complicated. Steven, instead of saying something bad to me, which I don't forgive him. So in this case, he's 100% correct. It's up to me. I'm carrying the heavy weight, and Steven is okay. But let's say if Steven killed someone, or maybe killed someone that I love. Of course, we think, that's impossible. But so many times we did this in our previous lives, and so many times people are still killing each other here nowadays. Otherwise, we wouldn't have any more crimes, assassinations. So that's a kind of a situation which could happen. In this case, could be a bit different because Steven is correct. Yes, he gave the first step. Okay, I'm asking you forgiveness, but what Steven did was a huge thing. So the damage which Steven caused is not because he said, I'm sorry, I'm asking you forgiveness from deep of his heart, that he's going to clear everything. Even if I do forgive, because what Steven did, he created a situation that will generate, will trigger the law of action and reaction. Because of the action that he did, a lot of things will happen. So what Steven did, he gave the first step. Kardec explains that to us in what's the moral codes of the penal life in the Steven, give me a blank in the
is the heaven and hell. Heaven
and hell. Yes.
Wrong.
So Kardec explains to us quite clear. Once we are trying to forgive, we are asking forgiveness to someone, or once we are trying to redeem ourselves or something that we did, the will of doing is the first step. But we're going to have to deal with the situation, with the actions of our action. So once the actions of our action is cleared with time, perhaps with forgiveness and love, after that time, yes, I'm okay. But until I fixed my issue with the law of action and reaction, even if Steven forgave me, I'm still in debt, not with Steven anymore, but with the law of action and reaction. And when I'm in debt, I'm not saying that God is punishing us, but we are triggering this law. It's not God. God does not do anything with us. So it will depend on the situation. Sorry if I'm making myself a bit longer, Steven, but André Luiz explains to us that also sometimes we are co-responsible for certain things. He gives an example, I think in the book, in the domains of mediumship, when a parent, a couple of parents, they were in the a couple, yeah, in the Brazilian time of slavery, and they were quite well. And his daughter, this father, his daughter fell in love with a slave, and that slave, was killed because the owner, the father of the girl, the owner of the slave. That time we would call owner of the person of the slave, killed that slave. What did the his daughter did? What his daughter did? She killed herself. So Andrea Luiz explains to us that her father didn't kill her, but her father had to deal with her suicidal after several incarnations because his action triggered a situation where he made her kill herself. So he wasn't responsible for her suicidal, but he was yeah, he was a co-responsible. So depends on the situation. Yes, you can ask forgiveness and that's it. But there are some situations, guys, that it's not so simple. But with time, everything is gonna work out in the end. Sorry if I made myself too long.
No. It's yeah. I think Robbie got that. He said, "I agree."
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and always, I learned something I would like to share, and it's about forgiveness. You know that phrase when Jesus said, "The truth will set you free."
And know the truth, and the truth shall set you free.
Yes. Okay.
John, yeah,
You
John.
know
Whatever.
why this? What's the cause of this? I learned Monday.
The cause? I don't know what.
Yeah. It was because when Jesus was a baby, Herodes asked to the soldiers kill all boys up to 2 years old, age of
2 years old. Yeah.
Okay. And what the woman they need to do, because it was almost 2-3 years of persecution, so they need to live their lives. So they used to hide the babies in a basket, put some towels or flowers on top of this, and they went go to the soldiers. So, no, what are you carrying? It's just flowers, it's just this, it's just that, and so on. Okay. Some babies were caught and they killed. Now others not.
Yeah.
But most of them were killed. Okay. And Maria, the mother of Jesus, she didn't lie. She never lied. Okay. And she needs to go to face the soldiers, and she put Jesus in a basket, and when she faced the soldiers, the soldier asked her, "Woman, what do you carry on this basket?" And she couldn't say it's flowers or it is whatever. She says, "I carry my son." And the soldier laughed. "If it was your son, you'll never tell me. Pass." That's why it's, and this is correlated with forgiveness, because saying the truth doesn't matter what's gonna happen, will set you free. As Wanderley well said, we will have the consequences of our reactions of our actions, but saying the truth perhaps will shorten our reincarnations, will make us suffer in order, when you choose our trials, we can choose better ones instead of bad ones, but saying the truth, whatever situation, whatever circumstances, is the best thing. And Hobby put something here. How does the law of cause and effect hold us in that with forgiveness? In both parties resolve the issue, is there still debts to resolve?
Yeah.
Go on.
Sorry. Yeah, but again, that depends, Robbie. Depends on of the issue. If it's a huge issue, yes, because maybe even both parts they agree to forgive each other, they are happy with that. Their action of that one person made affecting other people. So that action, it's like if you go to a river, we do this once.
It's a chain. It's a
Yeah,
chain.
it's a chain. We throw that stone and you keep going. So doesn't matter if you didn't want to throw that stone in the river or not. If I open my window here, if I throw here a basket, even if I didn't want to throw the basket, the law of gravity will bring that basket down there. If someone gets hurt downstairs, even if I didn't want to do it, there will be consequences. So doesn't matter if both parts they forgive each other and everything is okay with them. Depends on the action. It's settled there, but depends on the action. It will maybe echo throughout time. That's why a lot of times Jesus said to us, "Forgive your brother while you are still with him, while you still are walking around with him." So Jesus understood that once I forgive the person who caused any trouble with me, I'm going to walk better and I'm going to avoid a lot of problems with the law of action reaction. But he knew also that that's why he said to Senator Publio Lentulus, Emmanuel of Chico Xavier, he said to Senator Publio Lentulus, live your life like this and come with me and avoid centuries of pain. So I know it's not related to forgiveness, but if he chose that action, he would avoid pain. It's the same once we forgive. Once we forgive and once we ask forgiveness, we avoid certain levels of the law of action reaction. But if we don't, that's fine. But we're still gonna have to deal with that in the future. And of course, we are talking about difficult cases here. We are not talking about here, for example, Stevan. How many times is Stevan? I'm not gonna say I hope so. How many times I had fight with Stevan here over the phone? Because I'm a very brute person, very brute person.
Over the phone, in
In
person.
person, oh yeah, many times. People they say because I'm Scorpio, whatever. I try my best here in these lives, guys, but I'm a very brute person. So how many times? And I go to Steven and ask forgiveness. But if I go to Steven and hurt his daughter, do you think he would forgive me? Maybe he would in 20 years' time, perhaps. Maybe in 10 years' time, or maybe in the next life. So depending on what I do with against Steven, he's going to forgive me, thank God. But if anyone does something that someone with someone that we love, Chico Xavier, Divaldo, they say to us it may take several reincarnations to all that to go away. I hope that's clear. Sorry.
Yeah, but I want to make sure, Robbie, that the debt, perhaps the debt between the two persons cease when they agreed,
Yeah,
when they have a truly, we
very
will
true.
only work the reactions we made to the people who suffer with what happened with the raw we had. Okay, but the debt between person A and person B will cease at the moment they forgive each other.
Yeah,
Okay, they will be responsible for the actions generated to third parties.
yeah.
Okay.
Or even to that person, even if Stephen he hurts me, even if we forgive each other, we are okay with each other. But let's say what he did with me. Maybe he, I don't know, just give an extreme example, but he cut my leg.
Oh, come on.
Okay, no, but no, let's say Stephen, or let's say someone is driving and someone, hits someone and that person becomes a paraplegic. That person cannot walk anymore. If that two people, they face each other and with deep in their heart, the person who was in damage forgive the aggressor, it's not really 100% okay because now because of you I cannot walk anymore. So yes, there is no third party, but you affected my life. But because I'm not holding anything against you, the law of action and reaction will work much better. And also, like Peter said to in the Acts of the Apostles, love covers a multitude of sins. So once there is a forgiveness, there is love. If someone is trying their best, it's like if you are trying to, I don't know, it's like if you are cleaning your mess, basically, it goes faster instead of
Everyone
living or
is your own Messi.
that's it. Instead of leaving the milk over the counter, you know.
Yeah. Let me see here. Linda. Hey, Linda. Glad you're here. I hope everything's okay in Texas. So Linda is saying, saying the truth is a therapy, and we will feel better after saying the truth, even if it hurts very much. Yes. Yes. It is. It is. We need to be honest with ourselves. We need to recognize our limits. We need to recognize our weaknesses. I know it's easy, like in a job interview, when a person say, "What is your strengths?" You can say, "Can I answer in 1 day or 2 days?" But if they ask you what your weaknesses, you don't know what to say. You know, we need to recognize our weaknesses, and we need to be humble enough in order to work this. Even this means look for a professional assistance, which is correct. And at the same time, we need to work on your moral beliefs, going to a spirit center or to a local church. You need to be, is a two-way treatment. And this is going to hurt. Yes, it's going to hurt, but at least that the person knows the truth. Again, if you harm someone, you are not saying the truth. And when that person passed away, everybody will find out what was the truth. Don't, what's the word? Don't think you will not respond. We will not respond for those actions. You will. You will. I'll give an example. When Chico Xavier, the Brazilian medium, starts to write the letters, the consoling letters to the moms about the sons, it was the beginning. It's one of the cases Chico had in his mind, and he always remembered. He wrote a letter, and he starts to, he psychographed a letter, okay? And as usual, when he finished the psychograph, the letters, he read the letters, and in order to find out if the mom or the parents or the person who received that letter is in the audience. And he was reading the letter, and the letter was saying kind of this. Hey, my son, we didn't know that I'm still alive, and you didn't have this in your plan, and I couldn't talk at that time. I couldn't speak that time. Excuse me, but I could hear you to drink that poison until the last drop. And someone, and then they said, but even though you do this, I learned from this side of the life that I still love you so much, and for this I forgive you. Don't carry this burden anymore. I learned here how is love important and how I love you. And someone in the audience, a boy, a man, in case, start to cry, and he said he did that. So, is a two-way lesson. Lesson is the question. The big question is, and if the dead do not cease your sufferings, will not cease your problems. The problems will just be in a different perspective, but will not cease. So the lesson number 2 is that let's say the old man, he had to return to the spiritual world in order to remember what is the true love, and gladly he was allowed to say to the son and reduce his burden. This is not a row that you carry between each other for many incarnations. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Do we have any question here? Okay. So, and Wanderley, do you know how is the best way to find out when you screw up or not?
Okay.
It's
That depends on the situation
of
first.
the gospel according to Spiritism.
Now, of course, whatever situation that you do, that you harm someone, it's a sign that what you did is not good. But from the gospel, which part? I don't remember. Maybe not. It's not coming to my mind.
St. Augustine.
Okay. Okay. The reflections. Of course. Yes. Of course. Of course. Saint Augustine always says to us, before he goes to bed,
When he was incarnate among you.
he used to go to bed and he used to write down everything that he did in his day, everything. And there, he started to see what he did, whatever he did in that day. The next morning, the first thing he would do, he would go and say sorry to that person. And actually, it's quite nice because that generated his wonderful book, the Confessions of Saint Augustine, or just the Confessions. Because the Confessions there, I read a little bit. I didn't read all because it's quite deep philosophical book and quite thick also. But it shows how Saint Augustine, even like he was a very educated person. He had a really good level of the knowledge of the gospel. He could comprehend quite a lot, but even himself had troubles to forgive the others around him. Even himself had troubles to understand in the situations of the gospel when Jesus forgave the people who condemned him to death, for example. And he was a quite clever person. Imagine for us who don't see the way that I believe, at least for me, I'm not saying everyone here, maybe the people they see, but it's quite hard for us to grasp. That's why the lessons that we have in the gospel for forgiveness, when Jesus gave that lessons, he wasn't expecting that everyone would learn the next year, the next 100 years. That lessons were for two millenniums after, for 2,000 years, 4,000 years later. It's not even for now. But he understood one thing, that humanity eventually will learn how to forgive. And humanity eventually will learn how to leave things behind. But it's a huge process, as Stevan said. It's a massive process. That's why he spoke about forgiveness so many times. Not only in the gospel, in the Bible, in the canonical gospels, but once you take the work of Humberto de Campos, which has passages of the gospel which are not in the Bible, it's beautiful how many times he brings this necessity to us to learn how to forgive, or to start at least.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, so this is an everyday exercise. Again, sometimes we will not forget from one day to other day what someone did to us. No, again, it's a process. It's a process. Let's say, take the opportunity. What I'm saying is, if you harm someone or someone harmed you, take the opportunity. If this person is still with you here on earth, take the opportunity and start the reconciliation process now. No, because you had the conscious. So start right now. Start to think right now what's going on. And try perhaps to reduce the series of reincarnations together. Perhaps you reduce like some of them. But
Oh, yeah.
start right now. Start right now. Our friend John, glad you're here, John De Rosa. Thank you. Our first law of a happy marriage is for each spouse to a very short memory. That said, as to the more intense insults or injuries that beset us, many of us need these intense lessons to give us the opportunity to learn how to forgive and forget. That is not how to say. You said everything here. Thank you, John. This is
Thank
true.
you.
Marriage is a perfect one. We can see marriage lasting like one day, and marriage lasting 50, 60, 70, 90 years, and one person passes away in 2 or 3 days, 1 month, the other partner passed away because they cannot live without each other. So it's saying the truth and forgiveness walk together. You cannot say the truth without forgive someone or without ask for forgiveness. But you cannot forgive someone or ask for forgiveness without saying the truth. No matter how bad it is, we need to. And Kaká, glad you're here, Kaká. Missing your coffee, my
Kaká.
dear.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
missing your coffee.
Your vegan delicious foods.
Yeah, the falafel sandwiches as well,
Mm,
Yeah. Of course, we're missing you as well, Kaká.
of course. Each other, yeah. It's not only the food and the coffee.
Yeah. So this topic has been following me for a few weeks. Yes, perhaps not in vain why Wanderley brought this up to us today. We needed to. We need to learn. It's a process. It's not easy. It's not. It's not an easy task.
It's not.
It's a step. Sometimes we're gonna give 1 step forward, 2 steps back, 3 steps forward, 2 steps back. But what we need is keeping moving forward. And keeping moving forward is learn how to live. That's why we need, this is in the Spirit's book, Law of Society. We need the society to evolve.
Yeah.
We need the society to progress. We need this relationship to evolve. If we don't need each other, why we are all here? Just put someone in, there are billions, zillions, planets. Put one person in one planet, and there we go. Like the little princess.
Mm.
Even the little princess in the book, he needed to learn to have patience because he needs to take care of the volcanoes. So look after your volcanoes. Learn how to deal with your volcanoes. We need to do this. We need to know ourselves. We need to respect someone's boundary, and at the same time, the other person needs to respect our boundary. We need to learn that my obligations come across with what's the word on obligations and duties and virtues. So it's all connected. We have to have this with us today. And it doesn't mean because you are a spiritist or because you are doing, you will nail it. No. Like this pandemic time. It's not because when I say, oh, in October everybody's vaccinated, the pandemic is finished, the regeneration process finished. No, even started. This is the section 1 out of 1,000 sessions. Because the society, many people are saying, oh, the solidarity during this pandemic time come up. Yes, I agree. Come up, but come up for a short period. This needs to become a constant part of our day. I can say to you, Wanderley, how many times you blinked your eye today?
A billion.
A billion. You're still counting. So good, Yeah. No. So when you stop to count how many good things you did in your day because you lost your count, then you're on the right path. Because goodness is part of your being. Goodness is part of
It's natural.
you. So if someone asks you, hey, how many times you did good things today? You say, oh, 2, 3, 1. So if you are still counting it, you are not there. You have to work it. So, and we think like when we have the pandemic finished, the corona, it's settled down, we will have a happy world. No, we will still have a lot of work in progress. Human being is always a work in progress. And Linda saying here, today I saw this movie, Vera Drake, about a woman that thought she was helping young women with abortion. Vera went to prison. She had to pay, but her husband forgave her. He loved her. Yes, this is love. Linda, we need to, like in this pandemic here, we have this pandemic here will generate like 3 types of person. Okay? One person is who deny everything, like all this conspiracy theory, all this. Okay? We have the people who freak out. That person freak out, screaming. They do follow the rules, but they are, and they got anxiety. They got all these things, and perhaps it happen bad things with that. And we have the people who, okay, let's calm down. Let's see what's going on here. Let's follow the procedures. Let's be reasonable. What kind of people you are? If you don't like the example of pandemic, let's think like you are in a ship and the ship starts to sink now. We will still have these 3 same people. Those one who you deny, no, the ship is not sinking. This ship is huge, it's big. No, don't have like it. No, I don't need that. We will have the people who are gonna freak out, and they do believe the ship is sinking, but because they are freaking out, they are not helping anybody. And we will have that people who will say, okay, ship is sinking, it's bad, it's very dangerous situation. What I need to do, I need to get a float, or I need to get a boat. Let's to find out. So, what type of person you are? What role you are developing here? Does it make sense, Wanderley?
No, it does, but I have to be honest. I still thinking about what Robbie was saying before. And sorry if I'm gonna give another direction. Please forgive me, Stevan, because this kept in my mind. But I'm gonna give one example to Robbie, which for me is one of the most beautiful examples in the gospel, at least for me. When Judas betrayed Jesus, I'm not saying that he did that with his intentions or not. I'm not gonna go on that matter, okay? But according to Humberto de Campos, the spirit which used to be a writer back in Brazil, but after he passed away, he started to psychograph through Chico Xavier. He said that Jesus, I mean, he didn't have to say, but Jesus never carried any kind of, even a dot of feeling against Judas, because Jesus, was the most pure spirit that we have on earth. So even though Jesus didn't have anything against Judas after what he did, According to Humberto de Campos, Judas was at least for 10 centuries in the lower zones suffering. And after he starts to reincarnate, one reincarnation, he doesn't give any kind of location or anything like this, but he borns with mental problems, then he born with physical problems, then he born with another kind of problems. But all these troubles that Judas had, it wasn't because Jesus didn't forgive him. It was here. He created everything in his mind, his psyche, because he understood what he did. So even if Jesus never carried anything against him, he knew what he did.
Yeah.
So sometimes we make ourselves even guiltier than if the other person doesn't forgive us, because we are not forgiving ourselves. So Judas took at least 16 or 1700 years, 1700 years for him to start to understand, not less, 1500 years, that according to Leon Denis and according to Chico Xavier also, and other spirits, Judas comes to reincarnate as Jeanne d'Arc in France. And in that reincarnation, he learned how to forgive the enemies who put her on fire. And he felt like Jesus. He felt betrayed by the king of France. And once she understood that betrayal, according to Humberto de Campos, Judas, he went to the highest spheres. But why? Because there he starts to forgive himself for what he did. Took 1500 years. It could have taken less, but he couldn't forgive himself. So once we talk about forgiveness, we only have a few minutes, but let's never forget that we must forgive ourselves also, because otherwise we're going to create so many problems in our psyche and in our future incarnations, not because of Stevan or because of the others, because of ourselves. So self-forgiveness is a part. Yes,
Our hell is our conscious.
That's it. That's what Allan Kardec explains to us in heaven and hell. Whatever we do, it's here. There is no God punishing us, or God is going to put us in the lower zones. Even for the spirits of the suicidals, like Judah was a suicidal, okay? So these spirits, Ivone do Amaral Pereira, in the Memoirs of a Suicide, she explains to us that, yes, they went against God's law, but what keeps them in the lower zones is not God. Is their conscience, is their sense of guiltness which they carry. That's what keeps them there, So that's we have to learn how to forgive ourselves also.
Great. Good. So Linda compliments here and says, everybody has a conscience. Yes, we do have. And again, this could be, the conscience is going to be our judge for good things or bad things. John say, right on, learning to stop playing God with ourselves. John, I would say yes. We need to stop to be a judge, to act as a judge. We are extremely
harsh.
No, not harsh. We develop we act as a perfect judge when you are judging others' behavior. But we are compliant with our situation. This is why we have all this situation, reds against the blue, blue against the red, because everyone take the truth from your point of view without considering everyone's point of view. Everyone assume I know the truth, I have the truth, and I am able to judge someone. And we start to have this lack of friendship, fraternity between each others, and we harm someone. We do not respect. Once we start to respect everyone's boundaries, and everyone starts to respect our boundaries, then we will start to change the world. Then we will start to change our path, our progress. But when you are still playing as a god, playing as a judge, and condemn others, we are not respecting this. We need to understand, like perhaps someone did that bad thing, let's say, because they do not have the progress enough. They didn't live enough to figure out that situation or the action he did is a bad action. Like us, how many times, I don't know, if we look back our lives, go back like 20 years ago, 10 years ago,
1 year ago.
what, or 1 month ago, what you could do differently?
Yeah.
What you have learned in this time to make things differently? I'm not saying regret about decisions. I'm saying here is we need to learn. And I don't recall who said that, but let's say, without giving names, a teacher, a young boy, and an elderly person. They were together in the same room. And the teacher asked to the elder one, what is the best advice you can give to this young student? And the elder says, become old. Because only when you become old, you have lived experiences, you will be able to see things as it is. Okay, 2 minutes, Wanderley.
I agree with you 100%. I wouldn't agree with the part of old because I don't want to get old. I think that's a process that once you are in the high evolved spheres, in the pure worlds, we won't have to get old, thank God. But
Yeah.
I'm joking. But I think I agree with Steven. We only can see things with time. That's why Spiritism is called the consoler, or that doctrine which takes away, the veil, the veil. So the philosophy which uncover things to us, because Spiritism brings things in a way that it shows to us not the entire truth, because there is no philosophy, there is no religion, there is no person who can say to you that's the entire truth, but can bring a good side of truth. Spiritism, at least for me personally, a side of the truth which helps me a lot. But you only can do things once you know what you are seeing. If you are lost, you're gonna be acting like if you are lost in mistakes, doing, causing trouble to the others, whatever.
Yeah. So, John, thank you. Tech Fellows, wonderful program. Thank you, John. Thank you very much. Don, at the age of 75, my life is much more peaceful than decades ago. I have no doubt about it, John.
I agree, yeah.
I don't have doubt. Okay. So, let me share my screen here because I need some announcement here. Okay. And there we go. So, on the 4th of February, we will have a new show on Kardec Radio led by Elsa Ross and Charles Kemp. And Nadia Girs from Lithuania, and myself. This program we'll talk about spiritual. Spirit, not just spiritism, but everything relates to spiritual. And the first question here we try to discuss is, do we have a soul? So it's 4th of September. It's a weekly show every Thursday, and it starts at 9 p.m. UK Ireland time. I would say this is gonna be 4 p.m. East time, perhaps 3 p.m. Central Time. So, and Vanessa will be with us on this first episode. I'm just there, so Charles and Elsa will be the main main person of these discussions here. So, but yes, you can see these two websites from YouTube and Facebook from Kardec Radio, Spiritist of Ireland, Buzz, Lithuania. So this broadcasts many places. So I hope you like these, guys. And thank you, Robbie said here. Thank you. I'll be able to add to my presentation. Yeah, I hope you like it, Robbie. I hope we could give you inspirations. But again, the trick thing is put this in action. Saying, presenting, talking, it's wonderful. Put this in actions, it's the hardest thing ever. But let's do it. We are a team. Let's do it. Okay. Wanderley, can you do the final prayer for us?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay. For those who feel comfortable, I'd like to ask you to close your eyes, to take a deep breath. Let's be thankful for the lives we have, despite of the trouble that we have around the world nowadays with Corona and all the other things that may be harming ourselves, our neighbors, people in distant countries that we may not know. For everyone who is in suffer, let's ask for the good spirits to support and guide them. Let's try to bring our love to them, our good energy and vibrations, for them to understand that even they're in a difficult time now, this will pass. Let's wish to them to have clarity that all the troubles we have in this life are for us, are for us to understand something that we have to learn. That despite of the trouble that we all have, we have a good spirit beside us who is supporting us to go through this difficult situation. So we are not alone. Let's ask guidance for the spirit which for us is the master, Jesus, to help humanity to comprehend that despite of everything, the light will come, and He is the light with all the good spirits. Thank God, and so be it.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank
See
you,
you
Dom.
guys.
Thank you, Linda. Thank you, Kaka. Thank you, John. Thank you, Robbie. Thank you, everybody who, Fabiano, and everybody who is with us. I'll see you next Tuesday. Okay? Thank you. Bye-bye.
See you guys. Good night.